Well, we're meeting with the U.S. Marshals because the murder suspect has fled the state, and we're asking their assistance to help us run him down, try to get him in custody and bring him back. Which suspect is Carl Bernard Kennedy, age 46, and we think he could be headed to several different states, so we're going to need some assistance in apprehending him.
What leads you to believe he's fled the state?
Sightings and also some witness statements.
Okay.
It's telling us what he said and what he might do.
Okay. And has this man been charged with a crime yet? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about what he's been charged with doing?
Carl Kennedy has been charged in the murder of Clarence Williams. We do have warrants, already obtained warrants, and he is being charged with murder. So he's a fugitive from justice at this time.
Tell us what exactly happened.
The way I understand it, they were having family fish fry, and late Saturday afternoon, and some way an argument started between the victim and a couple of other people that were at the fish fry, and so the suspect, Kennedy, had a shotgun, or a long gun I should say, in the back of in the trunk of his Jaguar, and for some reason he just goes to the trunk, pulls the long gun out and shoots Clarence Williams in the face, killing him, and then flees. So we don't know exactly what the motive was at this time. We know both subjects were involved with illegal drugs. Could have been a motive, but we don't know that at this time.
When you say both subjects, who do you mean?
Clarence Williams, he was in possession of some marijuana. We had caught Carl Bernard Kennedy the week before, a UPCS charge, and also switched tag.
Now, did you have him in custody at any time?
We had him in custody. He was out on bond.
But not related to the murder?
Not related to the murder.
Okay. Now, do you have anyone else in custody at the time? Like
we do have a subject right now in custody. We don't want to call his name, but he's not being charged at this time, but he is in custody for questioning.
Okay.
What's the relationship between Mr. Williams and Mr. Kennedy? Did they know each other, or do we know that?
I want to say that Mr. Williams was Mr. Kennedy's uncle.
Oh, okay.
Had they been having a feud, or was this just something that happened at the moment, or had there been a ongoing problem?
I don't know of an ongoing problem other than just arguments that we had been called to the residence several months ago, but it was involving Carl Kennedy and his wife, and it didn't involve the Williams suspect. So I don't think it was anything that was ongoing. I just think it was a spur of the moment argument. It pretty heated and ended in murder.
That previous call you just spoke of with Mr. Kennedy and his wife, were there any charges filed in that case? Is that what he was being previously held on?
There were some domestic violence charges. I don't remember, seemed like they were dropped, but I don't hold me to that because that was several months ago, and I don't remember what that disposition of the cases were. But we did go out there and to a call for domestic violence.
You said he was shot with a long gun. Do you know about how far away?
Approximately 13 feet, 3 or 4 steps.
I mean, you hear about people getting shot and murdered, frequently around the country, but for somebody to shoot somebody in the face at such a close range, that says a lot, I would assume.
That's pretty violent, coming from someone that has no conscience. He has a criminal record. We've had continuous problems with him since he's moved up here back home. He was born and raised, I think, in this area, and moved to Miami, and then he was sent to prison for some charges, and then he got a EOS out of prison, and now we've had complaints on him. I've stopped him myself to check for a gun before, and he didn't have a gun in his possession at the time, so, it's been a continuous problem up until now, with him, not necessarily with him and Mr. Williams.
So we were talking about Mr. Kennedy there, right?
Right,
Okay. And since he's a convicted felon, he should have had a firearm in the first place.
that's true.
So, how would you describe this murder to others you've worked? I mean, with the close proximity of it, and it being you said either a long gun or a shotgun, and would you consider this a brutal murder compared to others you've worked, or how would you describe it?
Well, it's pretty brutal when someone shoots somebody else in the face with a shotgun, which I think it was a shotgun. We're doing an autopsy today, and we'll soon have that, evidence back, but, that's pretty brutal, and at least in this one, we have, the body. There's several murders, we don't have the bodies recovered yet, but we're still working on those.
And you spoke of several murders. This is what, the third this year?
I think so. In Henry County, a population of what, 17,000, so that's getting pretty bad.
So there's this one, the Mr. Poley one, the gentleman that goes by Poley, and then there was their third one? Forget what that one is, do you recall?
We had, of course, the Chucky was his nickname, and then we had Poley, another nickname, and now Williams, which his nickname was Boo.
Right, okay.
Wasn't there that stabbing? Wasn't it stabbing like a woman?
There was a stabbing, yeah, that was another one.
Was that this year?
That was,
I don't think
that was
Chuck
last
this
year.
Was it?
One of those two wasn't, I don't remember.
I can't call his name right that. I know the victim because we got her still in the Henry County Jail.
Right, but there are at least
But
three
there-
this year?
Yes,
Okay.
at least 3, if not 4.
And that's a big number for this population.
I agree. I
Yes.
agree.
Do you know what maybe sparking it? Like, or is there anything that can be done to, I guess?
Common denominator in all of them probably is drugs,
Uh-huh.
illegal drugs.
Hmm.
Do you have a weapon in this case recovered?
Not yet.
In the Kennedy case?
That's right. We're back
Okay.
to Carl Kennedy.
Okay.
We haven't, I assume he still got it with him.
You said it was a large family gathering, so apparently there's a lot of people out there. Did anybody try to stop Mr. Kennedy when he fled? Did he just haul away in his car? You know how that kind of played out?
I think Mr. Kennedy kind of intimidated the rest of the family out there, so nobody would have stepped in and tried to stop him. And it happened quickly, so he just got the gun out of the trunk, shot him, got in the car and left.
Are you primarily thinking he's in South Florida? I think I heard that tossed
He
around.
could be in the areas around Homestead and Miami, because he got family down there. I think he could be around the Atlanta area. And there's some evidence that he might be headed to Texas, we don't know. So, who knows where he's at, but the marshals they do a good job, so they'll be after him.
Is there any reason that alcohol might have been a factor in this? I mean, sometimes at fish fries, you just don't know.
Yeah, there wasn't any evidence of any,
Okay, or
That much
drugs or
alcohol.
anything, any drugs out in the open, anything like that, or?
didn't see any drugs out in the open.
Okay.
The victim had drugs in his pocket,
Oh, right, okay.
so.
And what was the location?
Yes.
It was a little dirt road off the county road 59, in the Wills Crossroad area,
I'll get you the road number, I don't have it.
267.
And then just lastly for me, when you have somebody who's fleeing no telling where across the country, and he has, in your opinion, in your investigation, committed such a violent murder, how important is it to catch this guy and catch him quickly?
Well, any crime that's committed, it's always best if you can solve it quickly as possible, because the trail coat's cold after several days, and they have more time to hide and make arrangements to hide. So we need to solve it quickly, and before he can, I don't know how much money he had. I don't think he had a lot of money to get somewhere a long ways off very quickly, but it's always important to solve the crime as soon as possible.
Would you consider him to be armed and dangerous?
I would consider him to be armed and dangerous. For any law enforcement agency to use extreme caution.
Do we know what he looks like, or?
We've got pictures.
I think I've got the pictures emailed to you, I'll have to confirm with him, but
Okay.
I think it's what we want.
Sheriff, changing gears on the, other case that y'all are looking for the body, can you give us any update on that?
The Polly case?
No, our leads, we've really searched, we've been working on it night and day, and we're still gonna work on it, but, we would ask the public if they know of anything else that we might try to be sure and contact us and let us know. We're waiting on the DNA evidence from the forensic science lab, and we think we've got enough evidence after we get that back to charge some people. And we think once we go to charging some people with capital murder, then we'll start learning some more about the case.
So you expect them to say more once?
I think so. I mean, when you're facing the electric chair, I think that makes a lot of difference.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the time frame on that? How long do you?
Forensic science is about 90 days behind, so I don't know when they'll have it back, but it's some other evidence that we gathered that we need them to analyze and tell us exactly whose blood it was and everything like that. So
When you say some people, obviously Mr. Cunningham's gonna be one of those people, but does that expand beyond the scope of the 2 individuals who you were questioning last week?
there's 2, maybe 3 individuals that we think may have something to do with the disappearance of Mr. Perez. And all 3 could be charged. We'll wait and see what the evidence shows.